Second Life gives learners an opportunity to explore the world and visit places they may never otherwise have the opportunity to experience. Whether it is going to a faraway place or inside a tiny microorganism, virtual worlds are helping learners become fully immersed in their learning. In our presentation, we visit the Museum of Nuclear Warfare within the Second Life virtual world. The creator of this site envisioned full inclusion and the use of this virtual world as an accessible educational platform, free from the constraints of real-life space and limitations. The following exhibits are available to explore within the Museum of Nuclear Warfare: the Chernobyl Nuclear Hall, Civil Defense, the Manhattan Project, a memorial, missile defense, North Korean border, nuclear reactors, and weapons of mass destruction. The museum also has galleries with pictures of nuclear blasts, nuclear weapons, and a special collection of children's artwork. The team led a guided field trip for our classmates to explore the Museum of Nuclear Warfare in the Second Life virtual world. Each team member chose an exhibit to share with the class. In this virtual environment, learners can visit historical sites, communicate and collaborate with others. The goal of this museum is to educate the public about the history of the use of nuclear weapons. The Civil Defense exhibit provides an interactive experience teachers can share with their students. The exhibit demonstrates a map of places throughout the world that can be impacted by a nuclear attack. As you enter the bunkers exhibit, students will notice above-ground entrances to the underground shelters. The entrances will lead students to an interactive learning experience that otherwise they will not be exposed to. Once you enter the fallout shelter, you will see on the walls images of prefabricated underground shelters being installed. The bunkers are fully interactive. Students can experience the limited space to move around within the bunkers. The exhibit provides a layout of the sleeping quarters and how food and supply rations were stored.
After exploring the exhibit on civil defense, we moved on to an exhibit defining the Cuban Missile Crisis. As we teleported into this exhibit, we were amazed by the images and models that decorated the room. They did a great job in depicting moments during the Cuban Missile Crisis. When you would click on a certain image, you would be provided with information over that image. For example, if you were to click on the image of the two gentlemen shaking hands, you would get information telling you that they are Nikita Khrushchev and Fidel Castro agreeing to the placement of missiles in Cuba. On this side of the exhibit, we have protesters protesting the United States, maps of missile placements during the time, as well as pictures of Alexander Feklesov and Valerian Alexandrovich, who were two important individuals during the time of the Cuban Missile Crisis. In this exhibit, we were able to see the Soviet Union getting ready to ship off one of their missiles to Cuba. On top of the images, you were able to see a model of the missile from that time. Overall, this exhibit was very informative over the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Chernobyl Reactor Hall. This exhibit was designed to replicate the reactor that caused the Chernobyl disaster. Chernobyl is considered to be the worst nuclear power plant accident in history, and is a result of a poor design and improper training. On April 26, 1986, the number 4 reactor malfunctioned during a routine safety test, resulting in an explosion that claimed the lives of 2 individuals. 134 individuals were hospitalized with acute radiation syndrome. In the passing weeks, 28 of those people died due to radiation, and over 49,000 people were evacuated from the area. Radioactive contamination lasted 9 days, and was completed on May 4, 1986. Second Life allows learners to see the inside of the reactor. They can see the layout as well as the location of the first casualty. Whether learning about history, design, or energy, this museum has so much information. The goal of the Second Life Museum of Nuclear Warfare is to educate the public about the history of nuclear weapons. The Nuclear Blast Gallery gives you a clear look into that history. In this gallery, you will find a large variety of images, photographs, maps, and videos, all pertaining to nuclear weapons. This map shows what would happen if a nuclear event occurred in New York City. In this exhibit, learn about the blast radius and the effects of this type of event. Through these images, students can get an idea of what the detonation of a nuclear weapon would look like, as well as its impact. Radiation is a scary thing. We would hate to think about what would happen to our bodies if we were exposed to such a large amount. In this exhibit, you can learn all about that. The Second Life Museum of Nuclear Warfare has so much information and would be a great learning asset to any classroom. Visit the museum to learn more about the history of nuclear weapons.